Hey everybody, Sean here from the Black Page, and I am with my very good friend, Dom Famularo.
Ta-da!
So if none of you know Dom, it's because you're living under a rock. Get up from under that rock. Get to know Dom. Dom, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Always a huge pleasure.
Great to see you again.
We happen to be at PASIC 2012, so I guess we'll open the floor with that. My first year here, I hate to admit it, but my first year, my eyes totally opened. Dom, you've been coming here for over 30 years.
Yeah.
I've seen so much here, I can't even explain it. And for the price, I'm talking under $300. You have a year now to save under $300. If you can't do that, get out from under that rock. Dom?
This is, well, PAS is the Percussive Arts Society.
Yeah.
It's an organization that was started over 50 years ago by the likes of the great minds of guys like Vic Firth, who got together and said, you know, we need to have a drumming community meet on a yearly basis. So they called it Percussive Arts Society. And what they have here is their international convention. So PASIC, P-A-S-I-C, is the Percussive Arts Society International Convention. What this happens is they move it around each year. It's in Austin, Texas this year. Next year it will be in Indianapolis, which is where their headquarters is located. It happens in Nashville and different parts around the U.S. What's amazing about it is it collectively brings together all of these different drummers of all different types of drumming. There's drum set players here, there are classical players here, mallet players here, drum corps guys here, and girls. And it's pretty powerful to have all these drummers come together for a 3-day session. And there's just events happening all day that you can walk through from room to room. And there's an exhibit area of all the companies that set up all their gear, like Vic Firth and all these companies, cymbal companies, and all the different drumhead companies. It's amazing to have. So you can walk around the exhibit area, all the publishers are here, you see all the new books, you see the new companies, you see what's happening, you go by and you see the different clinics that are happening. It's 3 days of intensity. And what we just gave was one of the Vic Firth PDT, the Private Drum Teacher Seminars, which I host. And Vic Firth organizes as a company. And this is really about, we had 120 teachers here, and we're teaching the teachers how to build their teaching business. It's a PowerPoint presentation. It's exciting. There are questions, there's brainstorming, there's paraphernalia, and all the publishers send a book or two that they want to give to these teachers to kind of see their ideas. So these teachers walk away with about $200 to $300 worth of product, of books and DVDs. It's incredible what they walk out with here. So the amount of information and the amount of excitement that comes out of it is a few days of really, really great drumming adventure.
Absolutely, and if you are an educator, I highly recommend, this was my first Vic Firth seminar. If you're an educator or even thinking about becoming an educator, this is the place to be. Steve Gadd was here today sharing his insight.
How
Dom,
cool is
of
that,
course.
right?
Vic Firth himself was here. The guys from Vic Firth, everyone. I mean, if you leave here and aren't successful, get out from under your rock.
What was great too is Gadd came by. Steve had performed here at the show.
Yeah.
And I've known Steve for over 30 years, and we had asked Steve if he can come by and just say a few words to the teachers, and Steve said absolutely.
Yeah.
So Steve was here. Stanton Moore was here.
Yeah.
He was performing. Stanton's from New Orleans, and he performed here also, doing a clinic and performing here at the show. And Zorro.
Yep.
You know, the funk player. So with all these great players, that they just happen to kind of come by and talk, and you're in the room. We did actually a group picture with everybody, which will be exciting. I'm sure you'll see it all around the internet and
we'll
stuff
post
like that. But great fun. So to me, it's an important adventure to have here, and the whole educational scene has a real, big part of my heart of what's happening for drumming. To try to raise a standard of drumming education worldwide. Yeah. As I have with my studio back at my home, the Wisdom Drum Shed. It's a studio that's built that has, really, high-end technology and flat screen TVs and video cameras and recording stuff that we have that we learn and help the student to learn better. I think that's a big part of what it's about.
And to add to that, Dom, you are working on something right now, musiclearningcurve.com.
Absolutely.
Which is an interactive thing.
This is really fun, and what this is I put together in my studio the ability of being able to have, through the internet, a live session. So a couple cameras, I'm live, we announce when it's going to be on, you go by and pay your $10 for the session. It's an hour long, it's on a specific subject matter. And I'm able to take online, instant message questions or email questions. So right there it's happening while I'm talking to the world. And we did the first one, we had about 267 drummers line on. And to be able to reach 10 countries at the same time while we're speaking this level, but it's live and you're asking questions and I'm saying, boy, here's, Jeff Salem sent in a question from Toronto and I answered Jeff's. It's just so powerful to have the technology used for education, and for mere $10 US, you can have the accessibility of having myself there. And as we build this, I've spoken to many of my friends, Steve Gads and all the other drummers around, Steve Smith and stuff, and they said, my gosh, when you get this, set where everybody understands what it's about, they'll come by and they'll do it, and you can talk to them, and we can play and demo and ask questions. It really is so huge where we are now in the 21st century. Bring it on. Man, get out from under the rock. Jeez. Fun stuff.
As well, and of course, because you're Don Famularo, there is always something going on. You have a new book coming.
I've got, I'm having so much fun. Earlier this year, I had a book that came out called Groove Facility.
Yeah.
Co-written with one of my guys that owns one of my schools in Marseille, France, Rob Hirons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great guy, great book, Groove Facility. And it's kind of an idea. In my book, It's Your Move, the last page of the book, the exercise is called Groove Facility. So we took that exercise and expanded it to book form. It's got Rob on there, and the book comes with a DVD. So you're hearing Rob explain exercises right there. You see him talking about it. He explains exercise. It's so powerful. The book has been selling very, very well because it's really kind of helping students break down their grooves to understand how to play a groove and how to feel comfortable with it, and how to make it sound comfortable. And last year I came out with a book called Drum Set Duets, which was co-written with Stephen Chamberlain. Stephen Chamberlain, who's a phenomenal young drummer in Quebec, Canada, also one of my associates with the school. And Stephen is a wonderful young player who's really kind of adventuring now into more open-handed playing.
Right.
So we put the book together, Drum Set Duets, which has two drummers playing together, or you can play with the CD that comes along with it. So that book is great. And now I'm coming out with another book in January called Odd Feelings, co-written with Massimo Russo. Massimo Russo is a young, phenomenal drummer in Italy that's also involved with one of my schools. And he's got a wisdom drum shed in Vibo Valencia, Italy. Oh, it's so great. It really is. Absolutely. Bella, man. The great wine, the great food, and wonderful people of Italy. So Massimo is incredible as a player, and we put this book together, Odd Feelings. Again, one of the excerpts of pages from my book, It's Your Move. And we expanded on it. So with that now, that book will come out in January, and I'm working on a few other books with other guys, so it's fun to see all this grow and develop.
That's such an incredible thing. We had a seminar with Dan Britt, a mutual friend of ours, and one of the questions posed, and I was interested to hear your take on it, was the introduction of open-handed or cross-handed. Maybe speaking to some of the educators who kind of wrestle with that, because we are at PASIC, we've been talking about the open-mindedness as much as this was right at one time and this was right. Nothing's right. It's what's right for each person. How would you approach? Do you start right away with the open hand, or do you sort of let the student?
It's first of all, Dan Britt is a wonderful player, a student of mine and educator, and did a great job of performing here at PASIC and explaining about many concepts of his book, Drumopedia, which is a great beginner book to get people started. And the open-handed concept of the concept of playing cross-handed, where you cross your hands, then to playing open-handed, where your weaker hand, my left hand, is now playing the hi-hat and taking on more responsibility. I have two ride cymbals that I use, so I can play left-hand ride, right-hand ride, or left-hand hi-hat and a second hi-hat to my right to play right-hand hi-hat. So I never cross my hands. I'm always playing open no matter where I am. And this concept to me has dramatically freed me. I made the change after 37 years of playing traditional grip and cross-handed playing. I began to play 10 years ago, match grip and open-handed. So it's been 10 years, a decade of me doing it. I will never go back because of the feeling that I have had, that I feel I have of more creative expression and comfortability in my playing. So I don't have any beginner students, but 80% of the students that I teach are teachers. And I tell them, plant the seed of both ways. On the drum set in your studio, you should have two ride cymbals and two hi-hats. And let the student play it right-handed, and let them play it left-handed, just, if anything, to develop their weaker side, because your strong hand is here and your weak hand is here. And if you practice evenly, after a year, this happens. You get better, but there's still that gap. But when you add open-handed playing to it, just to kind of get that feel, now when I'm playing this way and my left hand's working a lot more, I'm bringing that left hand up to a higher level, so the balance of my hands. And I asked the question, how would you feel as a player if you had two strong hands? You had two right hands. Where would your creativity be? Where would your comfort zone be? Where would your open-mindedness to try new ideas be? It would be endless. That's what this is about. So the open-handed mentality is about taking your left hand and playing it and developing your weaker side, lifting up, I wrote a book with Stephen Chamberlain called The Weaker Side.
That's right, yeah.
About that idea where 80% of the pattern you play with your weaker side.
Yeah.
And I use S and W as opposed to rights and left. S and W for strong and weak.
Right.
So under the note is S and W, so it doesn't matter whether you're right or you're lefty, you'll be able to find out what works for you. So that book, preparing you out of even books like Stick Control. Stick Control is an extremely important book to play.
Yeah.
And I say that's the first book to kind of get down as far as technique, to do it with your hands and your feet.
Yeah.
Because when you get that together and work it out, then you go into the weaker side, then you start to open up the books like Accents and Rebounds. All this playing stuff opens up where you feel the idea that's in your head can more easily be executed, which is what the whole thing is about.
Connecting the dots.
That's what it is. So, good fun stuff.
One last question for you,
Yeah.
Dom. You've traveled to 22 countries this year.
Yeah.
You are actually on your way to Paris. A good friend of ours, Frederic, is here,
Yeah.
and you're going to be at the opening of his school. So for the readers and people that are out there watching the next couple months, where can they see you? Where are you going to be? And
Oh, I've got some, as always, my schedule is exciting. I go to France the first week, December 6th, 7th, and 8th, to the Drumming Lab, which is going to be another extension of the Wisdom Drum Shed. It's right in the center of Paris, in between the Eiffel Tower and Notre Dame. A great location for drummers to go by to the beautiful city of Paris and to experience drumming through the eyes of Frederick Wimber. With, I get back, I go to Seattle also to do the Wood Sticks, which is going to happen, which is a great event that happens up in the Seattle area. And then January, I'm off to the NAMM show. And at the NAMM show, I'll be doing several series of educational lectures called The Sessions. The Sessions is a great panel of industry people, and we have all people from all different instruments come in, and we speak about the empowerment of what tools you need to be successful in this industry, whether you're involved with performing or backstage production or engineering or management, whatever it is, and we have all these panel members. I host that and also I'm a part of the panel. It's exciting, thesessions.org. If you go to thesessions.org and check it out, it really is helpful to musicians. So if one is in your area, come on by and be a part of it. I'll be doing that in January too. Then I'm off to South Africa, I'm off to the Ukraine, back to France, off to Germany, off to Italy, I do China again, the part of next year. I'm off to Australia for the Australian Ultimate Drummers Weekend again. This is phenomenal, the AUDW, Australia Ultimate Drummers Weekend. What Frank Corniola does out there in Australia is so exciting. I just finished playing there in August. We did the actual show the weekend of the AUDW. It is so exciting, it's so energizing, so drumming fun. And then after the actual event happened, we went on a tour with myself, Dave Weckl, and Thomas Lang. We did like 6 cities in 7 days throughout Australia. Sold out events, and Drum Scene magazine, which is the drum magazine down in Australia, hosted that tour. Drum Scene magazine, check it out, even though it's in Australia. It's such an exciting magazine. And for drumming, the enthusiasm of drumming, and here I am at 59 years young, still highly enthusiastic about playing and teaching and being a part of it, and still doing it. And I came out of the rock many, many years ago, and I realized I just wanted to keep on learning. Once you commit to learning, and once you commit to being able to look for the information that's out there on the internet, and even in your own local area, that's when you step out of the rock, and that's when you begin to learn, and that's when you begin to find out where your talent is at, and where the true sense of being able to share this talent throughout the world is.
Absolutely. Dom, I want to thank you very much for your time today.
Good fun.
Black Page readers, if you want to like, comment, tweet, comments are below. Share your stories about your lessons. And of course, if you want to visit Dom online at domfamularo.com. He does Skype lessons as well. You can contact through his email, through his assistant. She'll hook you up. So thanks for joining, and we'll see you down the road.
Thank you, man. Black Page, keep it going. Thank you, Sean, man. Good stuff.